We are here at the Desmond and Leah Tutu Legacy Foundation, where a dialogue was just held. And of course, these are women rights defenders from South Africa as well as across the world who have held courageous conversations focusing on the situation of human rights globally at the moment, and perhaps what can be done to protect those human rights defenders going forward. But let's bring in the regional representative for the Human Rights Office now, who they are amongst the stakeholders here. Let's bring in Ms. Abigail Noku now to tell us more about this discussion and about plans going forward. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your time.
Well, thank you. No, we were here at Tutu House to have a conversation with women human rights defenders the world over. A courageous conversation about creating space and dialogue about peace and human rights. And this very important time, just ahead of the lecture, the annual lecture that will be held later on this evening. And I think, upon reflection, I think what they have done for us is to really restore hope in the message of human rights, that everybody has a responsibility to play, that we all individually must take a stand, and that stand is to take a stand for human rights every day, in the small and big ways that each and every one can do.
And we know there were representatives from various countries who are working on human rights in their specific fields and their countries. Just talk to us about some of the panelists who were here today.
Yeah, so we had panelists from different countries, from the Philippines, from Ukraine, from Sudan, from different, even here in South Africa, because I think the whole point was to have a cross-continental, a cross-disciplinary conversation about how resilient women human rights defenders are and the specific issues and constraints that they face in their work. And what we are able to see from this discussion is that, we share a lot of similarities. We share a lot of issues across the different countries, and that we need to really unite and band together and work together. So I'm hopeful that the discussions that were held today have touched people who are here participating and part of the conversation in different ways, and can really carry that message of hope, of peace, humanity, and human rights.
And maybe how does the Human Rights Office just feel that a dialogue like this, a discussion around human rights, just how will this be used going forward, maybe to help around developing policies and maybe just help going forward to promote human rights?
Well, our office is here to provide that support to countries. We work with civil society organizations, with different groups around the world. And really, we're here to project a message that all human rights belong to everyone, to everywhere, without distinction. And so in many ways, bringing, convening different groups together is an important part of our work. So we're really here to project a voice of the promotion and protection of human rights.
And among the various countries that were discussed today, where perhaps human rights gross violations are occurring, we heard some issues from Ukraine, from one of the panelists. We heard maybe some South African representation. Just maybe if you could touch on what the Human Rights Office maybe globally is doing in maybe those countries. Do you think you can do that for us?
Well, I think really what the Office of the High Commissioner is seeking to do is to promote human rights everywhere. There is no distinction. And human rights challenges exist in every single country. And so we're really here to work with all countries. In my area of responsibility, I cover the Southern Africa region. But we have colleagues that cover other parts of the world. And in each of the countries, no matter where they are, our work is the same, to pass a message that human rights matter, they matter now, and they matter for everybody.